Okay, so this slide is quite distorted. Check. Okay, so this, I think we have the older version. Okay, so let's talk about the initial setting of the big IP system. Okay, first is to make it available for the access. Okay, first to set it for the access means you should be able to get the access of the big IP GUI or the CLI. Okay, means configuring the management port. Okay, so that what you do, that is the first step. Now after you get the access, what you will do is, actually here the second thing is licensing. Licensing means which of the modules you want to run, you will license them, and after licensing those modules, you will provision them. Provisioning means allocation of resources. Provisioning means allocation of resources. The resources you want to allocate uh, to the modules. For example, LTM and GTM you want to run. You want to run dedicatedly LTM, or you want to run two modules, two or more modules. So accordingly, what you will do is you will allocate the resources. There is no direct way on the BIB box that you will allocate the resource like this much amount of CPU, this much amount of RAM. There are actually different provisioning methods which we will discuss on next slide. Okay. Then after it, you have provisioned it. Then what you will do is you will install the device certificate if you want. This is the optional step. Okay, installing the device certificate, you can skip it. Yeah, you can install the device certificate. Then after provisioning, what you will do is configure the platform. Is configure the platform like IPs and all that. Internal VLAN, external VLAN, the VLAN you want to run, right? Uh, Tagging of the interfaces like that. So that you will do the configuring, making the big IP device ready to process the traffic. Okay. Then after it, you will configure it for network and HA. Okay. HA means high availability. That is also optional step. Then at last, when everything is in place, then you will configure it for processing the application traffic, web pool members and all that. Okay, so those are the steps which we follow. Configuring the platform, oh yeah, actually the configuring the network is the setting up of the IP and all that. Configuring the platform is setting up of the passwords for the access. We have the two accounts, root and the admin accounts, for which by default we can access the big IP device. Okay, so we can have them the password configured for them, or change the password, the default password that we have. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Now we will discuss these steps one by one. So first is configuring the management tool. Just give me a minute. Yeah, guys. So, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first step is configuring the management code. How you can do it is you can get the X. First is you can how to configure it. You can get the access of the big IP device using the console cable connected to the console pool. Get the access. Configure the management code. Okay. Second thing is you can directly take the access of the management port using the default IP address. Default IP address, as you can see, for the big IP and the Viprion is here. We have already discussed that. Okay, you will take the any device in the same subnet, your PC, laptop, and same subnet, give it the IP of the same subnet as that of the default IP of the management port. You will be able to access the big IP, and you can change or configure the management port accordingly. Okay. Then another method we have is the using the LCD buttons, LCD panels and the control buttons. Okay, right. So let's see if we have. Okay, let's try to take the CLI of the big IP device. Okay, so you are able to see the screen, right? So by default, we can enter it into using CLI using the root account. Root and the password will be default. This is the default root password. So presently, if you will see, we are into the root account. We have not done any licensing, and it is a standalone. Standalone means it has not detected any other device. HA is not configured. Okay. So we will go into the mesh. Wait. We will go to the bash, and then we will type the command which is config. Or first, if you want to check if config Ethernet 0. Okay, so in our lab, the Ethernet 0 is the management port. So if you will see the IP address, you can see from here is the 192.168.1.245. It is by default it is configured. Okay. If you want to change it, what you can do is you can type this command config. Like this window will come. Enter. Okay, use automatic configuration of IP address. Now, if you type yes, so if you have attached the this port with the DHCP server, so automatically it can take the IP address. Okay, from DHCP. So, but we want to configure it manually, so we will say no. So you can move this cursor using the arrow keys. No. So now you can manually give the IP address. So what I'm going to give is 172.116.10.10. Okay. Press enter. Netmask /24. Let's do it like that. Okay. Want to access the management port, let's say from remote network. In that case, you will require the default route also. Okay. But we will say no, we don't require it. Okay, so now it is saying system management connectivity may be lost if the management address changes. So, for example, if you have access previously using that IP and now you are changing the IP, so definitely your connection will be lost. Okay, so accept this setting, yes. Now let's run the command, same command, config Ethernet 0. Okay, now you can see the IP address has been changed. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Management interface is Ethernet 0, and let's try to take the access from the workstation using the management IP. So let's open the switch Ethernet 3x3 and 1x0. Let's put it down in the single VLAN. 3/3. So hmm? And okay, so you can see now Ethernet 1/0 and 3/3 are put down into the same VLAN. Okay, 1/0 and 3/3. Now let's go to the workstation. Click on it. So that is a shortcut to open the network settings. Now the thing is how you would identify which adapter is for which port. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's try this one. Let's change the IP address. Let's keep it as a okay. Close. Let's try to ping the management IP 16 and so this is not, so let's disable it. Three slash three. So which IP address it is? 3/3 it is getting the 502D003/002. Let's check on the basis of the MAC address. Let's try to do IP address. Same subnet 172.16.10.11. Okay, so we are able to get the ping. So this is the adapter for the interface. This one, P2. So let's rename it. Interface E2. So now I am able to ping it. So I will be able to get the access of the. So I'm able, as you can see, I was able to ping the. This is not the. This is the. Also disable it. Okay, for now, for this one, we are getting the 10.10 access. So this is the actually V2. Okay, so we are so guys. So what I did is I try to give all the adapters in the same subnet IP of that other management IP of the big IP and put down those interfaces on the switch on the same VLAN. So they were able to communicate. So I got to know which one is the management interface. So now from this PC, I'm able to ping it. So now I will able to take the GUI access of the big IP device. Okay, so what you need to do is HTTPS to the management IP. Not from this PC, actually, this inside PC. Okay, so it will show you this message, but what you need to do is, because it is a self-signed certificate on the BIP, you need to go to the proceed. Okay, so this is the, it will ask you for the password. So what you need to type is to take the CLI access, use the credential root and default. To take the GUI access, use the credential admin and admin, which you can change later. So this is the graphical user interface of the big IP device. Presently, it is not licensed. Okay. So you got it right, Kavaksha and Brijesh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go to our slides. Okay. So this step we have made it clear. Now the thing is, how many ways you can take the access of the big IP, or you can say configuration. So if you see here. So we have two primary ways to configure the big IP using the graphical user interface using the CLI. In the same way, you can also take the CLI of the it as well. For example, if we go, yeah, so if we go to the PC, this is the PC. But I can also take the SSH of the management IP. So, default. Okay, from the PC. You have the when you will click on it like this, it will give you the direct access of the console. And if you want to take, you can take the access from that internal PC of our device, the whole lab, to take the access. So let's move on to the this slide. So how to take the we have the management IP address. Okay, we can take the access using the management IP address. It can be restricted. It can be accordingly to the you know user, what the user privilege you have. Okay, and this is the first option. You can get the access of the GUI. Second option is of the self IP address. Okay, self IP address is like the IP address of the interface that we configure in Cisco devices. Here it is known as the self IP address of the big IP device. Okay, so we can also HTTPS to the self IP address and we can get the access using any browser. Okay, then we have the Linux CLI. So similar way we can use the SSH, PuTTY or any other tool, right, to take the access SSH to management IP or the self IP similar way. Okay, and then we have the access of the Linux bash, tmesh both. Okay, if you will see here. So presently we are at the bash. By default, we are at the bash. And if I type the tmesh, I move into the traffic management shell of the big IP device, where only the F5 syntax command would run. And if you want to move to the Linux bash, you simply type the bash, you will move to the bash. So all the Linux command will be supported. Okay. So, so if you want to see the management IP, because previously command that we have run if config ethernet 0 was the Linux command, and if you want to see it onto the tmesh, you have to type list system management IP, list sys management IP. It will show you the management IP. We also have the option. Okay, so you can, if you want to see the output in single line instead of like this, you can type list sys management one line command. So it will show you all the output in a single line. Okay, so that is how that is CLI and the bash distributed introduction. Okay, so we're good. Now let's move to the licensing part.